Raise your hand.
Be honest.
You're playing a game, and then in the game, like if you were playing Smurf Village on your iPhone, you can buy Smurf berries, or in Farmville, you can buy corn. One more time, I just want everybody to see this. How many people have paid for a virtual item in the game? Raise your hand.
I haven't, but my 12-year-old kid.
Fair enough. So I know it's a yes. I'm going to tell you something right now. 5 people here, so let's call it 10%, maybe 5%. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to come back here in 2 years, and every hand in here is going to raise their hand. Or 50%. You will buy virtual goods. You know why? Because the fashion industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Let me explain. We're human beings. We have an inherent need to communicate. We communicate through our mouth, and we communicate through the things we do. One of the biggest ways we communicate is by wearing the clothes we wear. The sunglasses we rock, the way we rock a Padres hat to the side on an angle, the handbag we bring in, the sunglasses we put on the top of the head, and our little scarves around ourselves. We need to communicate. It is why fashion is a multi-billion-dollar industry. If it wasn't, you wouldn't pay anything for the stuff you're rocking right now. You just wouldn't. It would be it would be commodity, just like content is now. It would be a commodity, but it's not, because you want to communicate. As our lives become more digital and we spend more of our times looking at each other in a virtual world, the things that we have in that virtual world will be the way we communicate to each other. And you will be buying virtual goods to express yourself to your fellow people. Mark it down. Remember it. We need to communicate.
You said it first.
The pet dog is a very important analogy in the thank you economy. The pet dog in the 1950s and 60s was an outdoor animal. By percentage, Spot was outside 85% of the time. 40 years later, guess what's happened to Spot? Spot has made his way into the home. But Spot didn't stop there, did he? Spot is now a bedroom animal.
That's right.
But Spot's one ambitious dog. Spot has made it to your bed. Not only your bed, Spot wears better clothes than you do. And Spot eats gourmet food nightly. Yeah. We need to communicate with our fellow people. We also then start humanizing things around us. I believe that we are in the very early stages, and I may not live long enough to get the full credit or see it, but I'm going to tell you right now, we are living in the beginning of the humanization of business. We will have relationships with businesses in a way that you can't even wrap your head around, in my opinion. The reason I believe this is because Vaynermedia, my company, is now doing the community management for a lot of brands. One of our brands, Lipton Brisk, is in the urban hip-hop demo. We talk to our friends on Facebook and Twitter about hip-hop, and we communicate with them. And when Nicki Minaj drops a new album or a new song, or when Jay-Z or Eminem drop a new lyric, people come to us and @replies, @Brisk, what do you think? They talk to us like a human. And I think this is a very fascinating trend that will evolve over the next couple of decades. And it will take time. But what happens is humans and human engagement is what businesses are going to need to be doing. I know for a fact that the majority of the businesses in the world today do not care about their end user or their customer. And you know what really pisses me off, to be honest with you guys? Small businesses and solo entrepreneurs always think it's a Walmart thing, it's a Costco thing, right? Target doesn't care, we care. I gotta be really honest with you. I think small businesses are actually just as at fault about not caring about their end user as big businesses. The book industry is very fascinating to me. Definitely not this place, but I've been to plenty of small bookstores where I've walked in, there's one kid on his iPad and iPhone sitting behind a register. There's not one person helping anybody in the whole bookstore. And because they're an indie bookstore, they think they're better than Amazon? Why? Why? I don't see it. I walk into plenty of small wine shops where there's one kid in the back and not one person knows anything about the wine.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel any service. Why is wine.com worse? Why is Total Wine worse? Why is Wine Library worse? Not. And so this isn't about size. This is about DNA. And I believe way too many people are trying to figure out how to convert and how to close and how to create customers and move on. And I think that that was always smart and dandy up until now. Because we are living in a world where word of mouth has always been the core to a business. Except we are now living in an era where word of mouth is on steroids. We are now communicating in a way we would never communicate before. We are now saying things on Facebook and Twitter and other products like that that we would have never picked up the phone and called friends about in the past. How many people here 10 years ago would have picked up the phone and called a friend to say, Tropicana orange juice is yummers? I'm going to say nobody. And I would say, if there was somebody that was willing to do that, you definitely didn't pick up the phone and called every one of your friends.
That's right. That's good.
But now you will say that on Facebook in a heartbeat. You will say that you love Tootsie Rolls more than life on Twitter in 2 seconds. You will say that this car wash is excellent, that this burger stinks, and you will say all sorts of things creating micro context that matters. Otherwise, the radio industry had no business. The radio industry, during drive time radio, sold billions of dollars worth of ads. Still does, based on this thesis, that mom is driving to the supermarket during the afternoon, and if she hears a Dove or a Tide or a Life cereal commercial, it will put that in her mind, and when she goes into the aisle, she will buy that product. Now here's the problem. Traditional media. Nobody here loves traditional media more than I do. I'm bullish on TV and print and radio and billboards. I have no problem with it. The problem I have with it is the price. We're being charged to use traditional media as if it was 1994, not 2011. Because it's not as measurable as they like to tell you. The CEO of Nielsen's came out recently and said, our numbers are at least 8% off. What? Who goes out and admits their product's 8% off? What does that mean the real number is?
Yeah. Seriously.
Anyway, not only that, mom is not listening to the radio on the way to the supermarket. Mom is on the phone. More importantly, I hope mom is on the phone. You think people are looking at outdoor media? You think bus stop ads and billboards are good? People aren't looking at billboards when they drive anymore. I don't know about you guys. They're barely looking at the road. I'm scared out there. Oprah is right. When you drive home tonight, pay attention. Just take a quick look. I don't think I've driven in the last year, because I'm looking at this pretty heavily, and driven without looking over. By the way, it's almost like 50% now. Literally, 1 out of every 2 cars, if I take a quick look because I'm thinking about stuff, and I look, they're on their phone. They're literally, I mean, it's scary. They're not looking at the road, and we're paying the same price for billboards? We're not consuming those messages. The world is changing. The average 14-year-old is sending 3,000 texts a month and making 2 phone calls. When you were 14, you were begging your mom for a second line so you could talk about New Kids on the Block.
Totally.
The world is changing. People used to watch soap operas. Now they play Farmville. That's why those products are paying those gaming companies. The world is changing. Soon your phone will be your credit card. Very soon. Every person in this room in 5 years will be paying for things with their phone. And you're going to like it. It's going to be convenient. I believe the companies that understand how to be innovative and adjust to the reality of the marketplace, but most of all, the ones that understand that in a world, Eric Schmidt, the former CEO and chairman now of Google, said the other day that there is as much content being produced in every 48-hour window as was from the beginning of mankind until 2003.
Wow.
I'm going to stop and let you understand that real quick. From the beginning of mankind, when we were like punching dinosaurs, until 2003. Who here does not remember 2003? Only that little guy. Not even you this time. All that content, every song, the Beatles, Elvis, all that, every written word, every little word out of Walter Cronkite's mouth, everything that was ever said, done, or made by us as a human race is now being replicated. That amount of content in every 48-hour window. No wonder our kids are ADD.
Yeah.
And you think your stuff is going to break through? You think your marketing and your message for your business is going to break through? You're out of your mind. Email. Let me take you back to a day when you first got your first email. You loved it. You've got mail. You were pumped. It was like Santa came in.
Seriously.
You read every damn word and you looked at it and you said, hold on, especially if you go back far enough, hold on. I don't have to pay for a stamp now? It was the greatest thing that ever happened to you. You were about to save a ton of money on communication. No phone call, no stamp charge. This is epic. The greatest thing.